A report released earlier this spring rated New Mexico's rural roads as among the worst in the nation. It found that about 25% of those roads need to be repaired or repaved, and there are many, many miles of roads and highways in our state. So finding the money to pay for roads projects can be a challenge, and roads infrastructure across the country is a growing need. Our producer Sarah Gustavus sat down with Transportation Secretary Tom Church this week to discuss the status of rural roads here in New Mexico.
Secretary Church, thanks for coming in this week.
Thanks, Sarah. It's good to see you.
There was a report released last month, a national report that showed that about 25% of New Mexico's roads, rural roads, need to be repaired or repaved, and that put New Mexico in the bottom 10 nationally. Did those numbers surprise you?
You know, Sarah, not really. The TRIP report comes out annually. They use numbers that we provide to the Federal Highway Administration. And, you know, we've been monitoring these statistics for a long time. You know, the 25% is on the rural roads, you know, for example, the state highways. But overall, the roads in New Mexico, like the interstate system, is about 95% in good condition. And so the 25% that are in deficient condition, you know, we still have dirt roads on the interstate, on the New Mexico highway system. And so it's not surprising, and yet, you know, clearly it's something that we do address with funding as we get the right funding.
But there are some areas where there's maybe some more attention needed. Where are those places?
You know, we're seeing a lot of damage to roads down in the southeast New Mexico. Just huge increases in volume of traffic and trucking. You know, of course, I-40 is a national interstate trucking corridor, freight corridor, and so we see a lot of work needed there. Also up in the northeast, the Farmington, Aztec areas, Bloomfield, we see a lot of roads that are, again, you know, seeing a lot of heavy truck traffic.
And that's from oil and gas development, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
How does the Department of Transportation determine priorities of where to fix those roads that do need to be repaired or repaved?
You know, we follow both the condition of the road, which is what the TRIP report used, as well as the safety and safety statistics, number of crashes, number of fatalities, things like that. And so the process, though, is really federally driven, and that is it starts at a local level with regional planning organizations, and then that grows into what becomes the state transportation improvement program. And then that's fiscally constrained, and so we can only deliver on based on the amount of money that we actually have.
And where does that money come from?
In New Mexico, it's about 50% federal funds, which, you know, comes from the Highway Trust Fund, which is managed by Congress. And then the other 50% comes from our tax, gas tax, motor vehicle registration fees, diesel tax, which is fuel on diesel fuel. And then finally, we have a weight distance tax. And that's very good for New Mexico in that, you know, often we consider ourselves a bridge state where heavy trucks are coming from the West Coast to the East Coast or vice versa, and driving through New Mexico. And what that does is that charges them a fair share for the use of New Mexico roads.
One thing that the average New Mexican would care about is definitely the gas tax. Senator John Arthur Smith from Deming has proposed raising the gas tax because there's not as much money coming in as people drive less and as cars become more efficient. How does that impact when you're looking at the numbers both now and ahead into the future for transportation needs?
Well, what we're trying to do really is get some of the general fund dollars that have been diverted away from the road fund, brought back to the road fund. We believe that'll help a lot. As well, you know, we have a large amount of debt. As we pay that off, that will help as well.
Now, capital outlay. There was some money in capital outlay for some road projects. How does that affect when you look at kind of the pool of money available for your department?
You know, it helps a lot. You know, it's a one-time appropriation, so obviously it'll have limited impact. But what it is there's about $72 million. 28 of that goes to local roads, and then 45 comes to the State Department of Transportation. We're currently working on prioritizing all of those dollars, and hopefully we can maximize it by using our federal dollars to double, maybe even triple the amount of money that we can get done.
One thing that I think is confusing for folks is they're maybe living out in a rural area or traveling to a rural area, they see a road that's in bad condition. who's really responsible for that and who's going to pay for it? How does that differentiate?
You know, that's a really good question, because the public really expects seamless transportation. And yet the way the transportation system is you have state roads, and then you have county roads, and then you have city roads or local roads. And so, you know, each one of those entities is responsible for their own roads. Unfortunately, you know, the public doesn't know when it turns from a state road to a county road. And so it's really important that we all work together to get those fixed.
Looking ahead into the future, what's next? What do we need to be thinking about for funding and maintaining our roads here in New Mexico?
You know, critical issue right now is what's happening in Congress with a long-term transportation bill. There are two separate issues. One is actually the authorization of legislation, and the second is the funding of it. They're looking at the Highway Trust Fund at a national level being about $92 billion a year short. So there's clearly some sort of fix that needs to occur, and that's critical to New Mexico.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Secretary.
Thanks,
Church.
Sarah. Good to see you.